Welcome back to For the Public Good. We're here talking with Pam Roman and talking about Rett disease, and we've learned sort of some of the things. We don't know what causes it, do we?
There's a genetic findings, but that's all they know.
And it's just an accident. It's not an accident at birth. It's an accident
they say
at conception.
It's sporadic mutation, which means it just happens during conception.
Wow.
There's no known cause. The known cause is the genetic cause, but after that.
But the trigger, nobody knows what the trigger is.
They don't know what the trigger.
I see. Then we're going to the next stage. Is there any cure, or what are they doing about it?
Right now, there is no cure, but we are very hopeful. We have every reason to be hopeful because, excuse me, in 2011, last year, December last year, in Boston, they started a clinical trial for 22 girls and women with Rett syndrome. They started this IGF trial. This is a drug. And just a few weeks ago, the first phase was done, and they say that it's very positive. They say that they've seen improvements in girls with breathing difficulties and heart problems. So we are very hopeful that by 2014, they say that the end of the trial is year 2014. We are very hopeful that by 2014 we have the cure for Rett syndrome.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So that's one step of it then. And how will that affect Julia then later? Can anything be recovered, or?
It will not really cure Rett syndrome, but the symptoms like seizures.
Seizures, right.
It's a very big thing because most girls with Rett syndrome really suffer really hard from seizures, and they're targeting seizures and the breathing difficulties. So if this is the target, that's a very good thing. That's almost a cure for Rett syndrome.
So it makes it a lot easier to...
Yes, but we're now on the second phase of the study, and they say the target is for mobility, for physical development.
Oh, really? So working on mobility as well then, huh? Oh, really?
Yes.
So is it the same drug that would do that, or?
It's the same drug. It's the IGF
Oh, wow.
drug, yes.
So it would not only take care of the seizures and the breathing difficulties.
Because you know why we're really hopeful. The Rett syndrome is very hopeful. Just in 2007, the symptoms of Rett syndrome were reversed in a mice model.
Oh, really? Really?
Yes.
Well, good for the mice.
Good for the mice. That's why it's hard, because they don't know if it works safe for the girls.
Well, sure.
But this IGF is a different drug, I think, that was administered to the mouse. But at least it's reversed, so they know which one to target. And the big thing is that they know which gene to target because there's a known genetic cause. They know where the gene is.
Right, they know exactly where everything is.
They know where it is. It's the MECP2. Unlike other, Rett syndrome is under the autism spectrum disorder. Like in autism, they don't know if what gene exactly causes autism.
Right.
In Rett syndrome, that's why we are really hopeful, because they know the target gene. Right. They know where to start. So it's a big leap to
Would this be something that could be handled with also stem cell therapy, because they know exactly where it is?
I think so. Some girls in the U.S. they have this. They benefit from the stem cell treatment.
I see.
Some of the girls, but they don't really recognize that. I mean, in the Rett syndrome community in the U.S.
But this one drug under testing now is actually handling all of the problems, all aspects of the disease.
Syndrome, yes.
And in 2014, it'll be
it's the end.
That's the end of the test, right? And they will have already done the mobility testing with that as well?
I hope. We really hope so. By that time.
Wow. And so then they will be able to make the drug available. And then it's a problem, I suppose, of how much it costs. It's going to be one of those. This is one of the really big problems you have here in the Philippines.
Yes,
just 10 people in your group, but you don't have any idea how many in the whole country are?
I have no idea. There are probably hundreds of girls in the Philippines who might be misdiagnosed, because some of the symptoms of Rett syndrome could be misdiagnosed for cerebral palsy or autism.
That seems to be with a lot of the diseases. That was also with Pompe disease. Well, we start off with cerebral palsy, and that didn't work, and then getting on. And that's also, I learned on the show here, we've had the doctors on, there are very few geneticists in the Philippines.
There are very few geneticists in the Philippines.
We can count them on, I think, one hand.
Like four. I think only 4 geneticists in the Philippines.
Right. So the chances of these diseases being misdiagnosed is very high. And I'm hopeful that maybe this is something about the show as well, that if you have any questions or you're wondering about one of your own children, or you have friends who have that problem, get hold of the PSOD, tell them, and they can get you, they can steer you in the right direction, right? And or even if it isn't one of the diseases, they can actually provide support, maybe from the standpoint of moral support and social support. And in your group itself, even though the people that are in your support group right now are here mostly in Luzon, I suppose, or in the Manila area, you would like to have people all over the Philippines, right? Or
yes, we have one from Cagayan de Oro.
Oh, you do? Okay.
We met them already 2 months ago. From Cagayan. Okay,
so so anybody out there that has Rett disease, or if you think you have something along those lines, you see the symptoms, please get hold of the PSOD. Please get hold of Pam, and because it's always good to have the more people, the more support that people can have, and knowing that you're not out there alone or on your own is very good. Does your group actually meet physically as well, or do you mostly just do it by
ensuring PSOD activities?
Oh, I see. Okay.
To see each other.
Because it's pretty difficult, isn't it?
It's
You're
pretty
strung out a lot of
because
places.
These girls are in wheelchairs.
Right, right.
It's not always accessible for them to.
Breathing as well. Does Julia have problems? You said she only has in the daytime.
She has a tracheostomy tube.
Oh, she does have the
Yes, she's also tube fed. So if she does have a breathing problem, it's not really noticeable, probably because of her tracheostomy tube.
And so she's fed in the same way through the trachea?
She's tube fed.
You tube fed? Yeah.
She has a tube on her stomach.
Oh, I see.
That's directly to her stomach.
I see.
That's where she's fed.
And you have, I assume, special foods that...
Osterized food, blenderized food.
Oh, I see. Oh, okay.
She's a vegetarian.
Oh, I see. Okay, yeah. Well, that's, I've become one myself.
Since then, she's been very healthy. She's been very healthy.
So she doesn't have colds and things like that, or works out on that. So the prognosis is that maybe a couple of years down the road you might have, and the relief from the seizures would be a big thing, I would think. In fact, the medicines that she takes for the seizures, does that prevent them altogether, or does she still?
Just the seizure. It prevents the seizure. But usually girls with seizure disorder, their seizures are uncontrollable. Even if they have 3 anticonvulsant medicines, it's still uncontrollable.
Really?
Yes.
Really?
It's really a problem for most girls, their seizures. Some girls have seizures like 5 times a day, every day. Like that. Julia, when she was younger, she used to have this terrible seizure. But now it's like 1 or twice every 6 months.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Really? So the medicines actually have it pretty much under control.
Yes.
Yeah, seizures are terrifying, aren't
Terrified
they?
too.
They're just really, gosh, you know, one of my sister's first husband, I guess, had epilepsy, and it's kind of scary when one of those seizures happens. You know, it's pretty hard. Yeah. So, how about the other kids that are in your group? Are they pretty much the same as Julia, or some of them are more severe, some of them are less severe?
They're pretty much the same. I can say most of them are the typical type.